watched a CO get fired on the spot for saving a prisoner's life in prison. I remember it so clear. This was years ago. I was on a level 4 yard, Sussex 2 State Prison. Thank God that it's closed down now, by the way. And if you've been there, you know exactly why I just said that. This particular day, a situation, this circumstance that occurred, so weird. It was so off, because how can an individual be fired for doing a good deed like saving somebody's life? Well, I tell you, that day it was extremely hot. And it was so hot to the point that they gave us the heat advisory warning and said, if you go outside to the rec yard for rec, you are stuck out there. That's it. You better bring water. We're not letting you back in. And that was often a tactic used to discourage, people from going outside, prisoners from going outside, because the officers didn't want to go outside. They didn't want to have to monitor certain parts of the yard, etc. But for many of us, we're going outside regardless. We're not going to sit in this cell. We'd rather deal with the heat, be in a more open space, see the sun, breathe air, than to sit in this concrete and cement all day, every day. So that's what we did. And we went out there to the basketball court. We were assigned a half court, if you will. And essentially, man, it's a half court caged in. It looks very much like WWF or WCW, one of them Hell in a Cell matches or whatever. Literally steel cage, right? And we're in there balling. It's extremely hot. And a friend of mine, Z, that was on my team, it was in great shape, would work out every day, do burpees, jog, pull-ups, etc., went down. And when I say he went down to the ground, he went down suddenly. And when he went down, he was still conscious to the point that, we ran over and turned him up like, bro, you good? Because nobody touched him. It was a non-contact injury, if you understand what I'm saying. And immediately we were thinking, okay, maybe it's the heat. It's hot. Everybody's sweating. You're tired. Maybe he overheated. He was still conscious enough when we were talking to him and, turning him over, and we're calling for the CO to let us know he's good, but he needs to go to medical. The CO came. When the CO finally came, unlocked us because we were locked into this thing, and came and checked on Z. The first thing he said was, he's good. He can go to medical. When I'm not calling for a stretcher, he's moving, he's conscious. This is the reality of what happens when you're incarcerated in prison. Not all the time, but oftentimes by individuals that are underqualified in the first place to be working in an environment like that. And more importantly, definitely underqualified to give an observation when it comes to anything dealing with medical. But that was it. I asked him, myself and others, if we could walk with our homeboy, our friend, to medical. He said, nah, he got it. I'm going to walk with him. And when he did walk with him, he walked with him, all right, but he offered no assistance. My friend was struggling. Fellow prisoner or not, side note, this is a human rights thing I'm talking about, because somebody's life was at jeopardy. Up until this point, nobody knew exactly what was wrong with him, and they were trying to figure it out. So here we go. He gets to medical. We see him walk in there. It's count time. They let us off the yard. We're in there. Next thing we know, while we're in the dorm or the pod waiting for count to clear, we're still in our cells. We hear the slider open. You're going to hear that when you're locked up because you're on point. You're waiting for the COs to come through. But instead of a CO walking through, it was our homeboy Z that just went to medical after he went down and collapsed on the basketball court. And we immediately were asking, yo, what's up? Why are you here? And they told him what they always do, what they always tell individuals when they go to medical 9 times out of 10, drink some water, eat some Advil, lay down, you'll be okay. Almost immediately when he walked into the pod, etc., maybe a minute or two later at best, he collapsed again. And the good thing was there was a CO by the name of Mays that said, I'm calling 911 because this dude he's out of it. And he's already been to medical. And guess what? He was calling his radio on the booth and they were telling him he's okay. He's okay. He's not okay. He's not okay. That's what Mays was saying. And he said, you know what? They don't want to help him. They don't want to treat him. I'm calling 911. Now, the issue with that is, though, I do want to say 911 came and they saved Z's life. It was not heat. It was a heart attack. He was having a cardiac infarction or whatever they say. I had to look that one up. His heart was stopping on him or beating to whatever was going on. He was going to be up out of here unless that CO had made the decision, which he did, to call 911. But just as soon as our friend was good and, was taken into having actual medical care off the prison into a hospital, they pulled Mays up off the floor. The next day, we had received word from other COs that worked on that camp were disgruntled because everybody's not evil, that he had got fired. And when we asked him why did he fire Mays? Like, he's one of the good ones. He's one of the COs that actually cares about us. And they said because he called 911. They said he broke chain of command or protocol when he went outside or above basically the managing officer's decisions to call an acting agency outside of the prison. The call was supposed to come from the watch commander, etc. It didn't. It came from him. He made the decision, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I hope that when he left that place, he found a way better job and he found a different career path. He would have been successful there, I'm sure, but sometimes things happen not for the reasons that they do, but sometimes for multiple reasons. And I hope that he was blessed through that, ended up in a good spot, because good COs actually care if you live, if you survive, if you, few and far, he was one of them. And also, before I wrap this up, I want to say this: it's illegal. Literally, you can catch a charge for trying to save a fellow prisoner's life when you locked up in there. If an individual goes down and they need CPR, they're turning blue, the COs aren't there, guess what? Doesn't matter. It does not matter. You're going to catch a charge because you hurt or you touched them. Therefore, you could have added injury. They don't know. And that is their perspective and standpoint. As always, I'm just here to educate, advocate, tell the stories that need to be told, because, man, people need to know. But as always, stay free. Peace.